I am sick as a dog, so we are going to get in an underdog draft, ladies and gentlemen. I think it may be the one way that I can be healed. I asked y'all what y'all wanted before the live stream. Pays to get here early. Puppy, 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 puppy. It looks like most people want a puppy. I mean, we have so many freaking tournaments we can choose from. We will hop in the puppy, ladies and gentlemen. $5 buy-in, $500,000 prize pool. We actually had a member of the flock win the puppy, I think 2 years ago. 50,000 for first, 25,000 for second, 15,000 for third, all the way down the line. Let's go ahead and let's get in this draft. And we're in. It's filled. And let's see what pick we get. Pick 9. Okay, pick 9 sucks. Okay, not going to lie to you. At least in my mind, and I have not done nearly enough drafts this year to have like super strong takes with where we want to be picking between the 12. But at least in my mind, how I'm looking at the tiers, I think there's a tier of 8 guys: CMC, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan, Breece Hall. Then once we get to 9, it gets a little bit awkward in my mind between the Puka, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Marvin Harrison Jr., Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor range. If I had my choice out of the group, I'm probably taking Jahmyr Gibbs. But the awkward spot is if we go Jahmyr Gibbs at pick 9, then on the way back around at the beginning of the second round, typically I'm wanting Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. But it's hard to go running back out the gate in these underdog drafts and making it work. But we got Tanner out here, pick 1. Happy to see you, my friend. Lasagna Lover in here at 3. Happy to see you. We got Brian out here at 6. The Ross Cred says pick 9 is Gibbs for me. If you check flockfantasy.com, I have Gibbs at 9 as well. It's just tough. P Muffle says at 4, let's get it. Alex says, are you going to the TU versus A&M game next year in College Station? Would love to meet you. I would love to go to this game. Okay, so if y'all don't know, I went to University of Texas, Hook'em Horns. We sadly did not get to play A&M at all when I was there. Breece Hall goes, so do we take Gibbs and then just... Because if we go Gibbs and then we go like one of these mid-wide receivers round 2, it can be a unique start. Let's see what happens here. If Bijan falls, clearly I'm going Bijan. I don't think that's a surprise to anybody. I would like him to fall, but I doubt it happens. Okay, Bijan goes. So I'm going to try it. Okay, I love me some Gibbs. Let's take him here at 9, and let's see if we can make it work. The majority of the other drafts that we've had at 9, I think we've instead taken Puka. But yeah, let's take Gibbs and see what happens. So Wilson goes before AJ Brown, which is interesting. AJ Brown goes to the Saquon Barkley team. Marvin Harrison Jr. off at 14. So will be very interesting if Taylor makes it to us. Now Taylor goes. This is a massive tier in my mind. We talk about this every single live stream. All these guys feel about the same to me. I think they're all bad picks at the beginning of the second round, but I have to take somebody. I can't trade back. So I'll take Ayuk. Ayuk, 1,300 receiving yards last season. Obviously, doesn't sound happy in San Fran with the current contract situation, but they didn't trade him in the draft. They did take Sticky Ricky round 1. So I don't know. I do not feel great about it, but I wouldn't have felt great taking Drake London. I wouldn't have felt great taking Kyron Williams. This is why I really don't like pick 9, because you can't get Taylor Barkley on the way back around you in the second, and you can't get Breece Bijan in the first. So I feel like pick 9, at least in my mind, is like the perfect example of the dead zone there, right between the end of the tier 1 guys in round 1 and the end of that like tier 2 guys at the beginning of round 2. But anyway, going back to it, I would love to go to A&M for the Texas game. I had a bunch of friends at Texas A&M when I went to University of Texas. I'm so jealous that kids that go to A&M and UT now actually get to participate in the rivalry. Because just to let you know, and I mean this like it's just the honest truth, whenever I went to the University of Texas, I know A&M, like the UT A&M rivalry is a big deal. When I went to University of Texas for the 4 years I was on campus, I don't know if anybody ever said anything about A&M outside of, hey, I'm going to College Station to see some buddies. Like, people at UT did not care at all about some like rivalry between A&M. I think that probably will change now that we actually play each other again, which will be cool. But with that being said, during the football season, no joke, like God's honest truth, I'm probably working over 80 hours a week. So there's a 0% chance I can go to College Station and do that. I would love to, my friend. But during the football season, I'm working 80 plus hours a week every single day. So I'm sorry, 80 hours a week throughout the entire year. So there's not much I can do, my friend. But we take Gibbs, Ayuk. Let's see if there's any big surprise. Mike Evans goes 21, which is a little bit different here in this draft. The team at 1 gets the Houston Texans correlation with Nico Collins, Stephon Diggs to pair up with Christian McCaffrey. The team at 7 goes 3 running backs out the gate. They go Brees, Kyron, Derrick Henry. Let's swing this back around and see what we are going to do. DK Metcalf goes. So I will take Pittman. A couple different things. I think Devonta Smith, you can make an argument, at least in my rankings, that I think I could put Smith ahead of Pittman. But if you look at the draft board after us, there is that team that has A.J. Brown. There's another team named Hurts So Good. So I think if we take Devonta Smith there at pick 33, there is approximately a 0% chance we get Jalen Hurts on the way back around to us at 40. Now, if we take Pittman and then Jalen Hurts does make it to us at 40, I'll be the first person to say the Pittman selection was very bad. But instead, I think we go Pittman here at 33 and plan on going Anthony Richardson at 57, which does kind of change our strategy here just a bit, because if you're looking at typically what I'm doing at like pick 40, typically at pick 40, I'm wanting to go ahead. I'm wanting to take like Lamar. Ooh, interesting to see T. Higgins go at 37. Josh Allen goes 38. I would have taken Allen if he would have made it to us at 40, even with our plans to take Richardson. Swing this back around. I'm interested to see, does this team decide, they have Puka, do they decide to take Kupp? And no, they go Kelsey instead. So if we're looking at this, we get Kupp falling about 5 picks past ADP. I think in a lot of these drafts, I'm still going to go Lamar. I'm still going to go Mahomes over these wide receivers in this tier. But specifically in this one, if you look at how the ADPs line up with Michael Pittman Jr. having an ADP of 30 and Cooper Kupp having an ADP of 35, I don't think it will be a super common overlap between the two. And even if I'd probably rather have Lamar in a vacuum, since we take Pittman, I want to specifically with this draft go Anthony Richardson 57. So we're going to go Kupp here at 40 instead. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you'll also have to do if you go running back round 1. Kind of have to slam wide receivers after. Alex says, I can pull you a ticket if you change your mind. I'm a student at A&M. Completely understand, though. I need those fantasy videos before Sunday. Appreciate you, my man. And I promise you, I would love to go to the game if I could. I mean, I live in Austin, and the YouTube channel got big, and I started treating it as a real job in 2020, my final year in school. Or no, I graduated 2021, but the fall semester was 2020. And yeah, so I started live streaming every single day then. So I didn't even go to a single football game my senior year just because I was working God knows how many hours. And I've lived in Austin now for the past I moved back here in 2022. So it's like 2-3 years. And I've not gone to a UT football game since like 2019. I went to like the spring game in 2021 just because it was in the spring. So I didn't have to be working. But yeah, during football season, I am glued. Jeep Guy says, where are the Iron Man updates? Let me get to this in 1 second, my friend, but I realize we're almost around 5 and I haven't said anything. If somehow you've stuck with me, ramble on about God knows what, and you don't know what's going on here, this is an Underdog Fantasy draft. We draft here literally every single day. My favorite place to draft by far. I mean, it's best ball, so no time commitment at all during the year. So I draft hundreds of teams every offseason. So I won $150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago. And yeah, you can join Underdog Fantasy with the link in the live chat, the link in the description, the link in the comment section. If you use code FLOCK, they're going to get you a 50% deposit match on your first deposit up to $250. So on a new account, if you deposit $500 with code FLOCK, you're going to get 250 extra added on. You'll also get our 2024 fantasy football rankings with code FLOCK. And on top of that, ladies and gentlemen, some pretty cool news. This used to be the map that I would show y'all where Underdog was available in. I need to get an updated map because Michigan now has Underdog. Now, like the only states with no Underdog, it's like Washington, Nevada, Louisiana, Montana, Idaho, and Hawaii. Something like that. You can see the map here, but Michigan now has Underdog as well. So super cool. Pumped to know that Underdog's pretty much in every state now. And yeah, code FLOCK, links pretty much everywhere. Okay. Ross Cred says, Mason, my wife was upset that you didn't draft last night. I was literally with her. What the hell was she expecting from me? We were supposed, she wanted to be drafting on our date? That's just not good manners. Kyle Pitts off the board. So interesting spot. I think okay, so a couple different things. This team has Allen. This team has Jalen Hurts. Can we take Dalton, Kincaid, and possibly push Anthony Richardson to fall down? I think there's a chance that we can. So we're going to go Kincaid here, pick 57. No Stephon Diggs. I think Kincaid's just going to get absolutely flooded with targets. And I don't think we have to be too concerned about Josh Allen at pick 38. I'm sorry, the team that took Allen at 38 or the team that took Jalen Hurts at 36, possibly taking Michael Pittman Jr. I don't know. We will see. We will see. But, oh yeah, getting back to the Iron Man updates, I would love to keep on doing the daily videos and stuff. And I need to get y'all a video. So I'll get y'all a video tomorrow because the next 2 weeks, I'm about to have the craziest workout schedule I've ever had. Like, I have no idea how we're going to survive it. We've been freaking crushing it. I mean, over the past 3 weeks, my friend, I know we haven't been uploading videos, but the workouts have been so much better than they've ever been for me personally. And I'm very confident about the Ironman. We actually leave a month from today, or maybe only like 29 days from today. But I'll try to get an update soon. The next 2 weeks are going to be nuts. But let's move this over. And Anthony Richardson goes. Richardson was obviously going to be our play here. So based off the news that we have surrounding Rashee Rice, I think we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Xavier Worthy. If you're looking at Worthy, this is a wide receiver that's, yes, is expensive for a rookie. To take a rookie wide receiver here at pick 64 ahead of Rome Odunze when Rome was drafted inside the top 10 picks of the NFL draft, when Rome was a significantly better prospect. It seems like it's a pick where we are overdrafting him. And 100%, I'll be the first person to say it's a possibility. But a couple different things here. One, if you are looking at Xavier Worthy, this is one of those wide receivers that you could see massive spike weeks, particularly on Underdog Fantasy when we're not necessarily expecting them to happen based off his speed. I mean, you can easily see Xavier Worthy having a couple games this season where he has an 80-yard receiving touchdown. So maybe an Underdog is going to be worth a little bit more than he would be in your typical league. Two, if Rashee Rice misses time, Xavier Worthy may be the second option in a Patrick Mahomes offense with the fastest 40-yard dash time in the entire league. So we'll go Worthy. Obviously, it would have been so much better for this draft to get Anthony Richardson at 64. Looks like we almost got him. Anthony Richardson went at 63. Getting Richardson would have been beautiful, but getting Worthy isn't the worst thing in the world. And now, I mean, we've caught up at wide receiver despite taking a running back round one. And also, now that we don't go Anthony Richardson, but instead we went Dalton Kincaid round 5, this will be a little bit of a different build in that we're going to be drafting only 2 tight ends. And unless we grab 2 quarterbacks pretty soon, we may get stuck having to draft 3 QBs. Now, if you are looking at the quarterbacks that we could potentially go with, we can go Goff will correlate with Gibbs, given the fact that Gibbs is a massive receiving role. Purdy will obviously correlate with Ayuk. Stafford will correlate with Kupp. So really the only options that we have gone are going to be the Kincaid and Worthy stacks. But you have that team at 4 rolling the dice that they can get Joe Burrow around 7. Really smart to roll the dice there because you can look at the fact that T. Higgins went at pick 37. So you don't really have to worry about the T. Higgins team taking between your 2 picks. Plus, between those picks, you also have the CJ Stroud and Patrick Mahomes team next to you as well. So you're sitting there with Chase going, okay, most teams with Chase will take Joe Burrow around 6. But instead, you take the falling value according to ADP with Kamara, and you still are able to get him on the way back around. Okay, so let's move this back around. This team, very similar construction to ours, almost an identical construction. They're going with an Atlanta Onslaught, so they're going to be the Cousins team, more likely than not. They go Deontay Johnson. I'm not too interested in Rashee Rice, so here are your options. Spam the chat. Let me know who you want us to go with. Would you rather see Kyler Murray, JSN, or DeAndre Swift? I think Kyler Murray possibly gives us the option to only have to draft 2 QBs. 1 vote for Kyler, 2 votes for Kyler. Okay. And by the time we picked, there were no other messages in the chat. So now if you flood the chat with messages telling me to go JSN, it's too late. Okay. Kyler, JSN, Kyler. Yeah, it looks like most people wanted to go ahead and take Kyler. But JSN and DeAndre Swift are both immediately gone right after. So we're probably going to be looking at pick 88, unless Rashee Rice makes it to us. If Rice makes it to us, we'll say, F it. We'll go ahead and we'll get some correlation in here with the Chiefs offense with both Worthy and Rice. If that doesn't happen, I think we're going to be scrolling down and we're going to be looking at this massive tier of running backs. I think we can be looking at Najee Harris, Tony Pollard, James Conner. You can make an argument. We decided to take Kyler Murray, go through, follow it up with the Najee Harris the James Conner selection. I don't know if James Conner correlates that well with Kyler, so I'm just going to give it to y'all. Spam the chat. Who do you want? Do you want Najee, Pollard, or James Conner? Please answer this fast. I know there's a little bit of lag in the live stream, but unless you got to answer quickly for this one. The first message I saw was Pollard out of the 3. So we will go with Aaron. TC Chandler wanted Mostert, but Mostert was not one of your 3 options, my friend. I'm sorry. I missed on winning a lot of money with Mostert last year. I wish I was smart enough to have done it last year at ADP or definitely above ADP. I'm not going to be reaching to try to catch up on Mostert this year. Najee, Pollard, Connor, Najee, Connor, Pollard, Connor, Najee, Connor, Najee, Connor. Okay, so it looks like most people wanted James Conner. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Aaron, we went with your first message, and maybe you led us astray. Now, do I want to blame Aaron entirely? Yes, I do. Okay, so Najee goes immediately after. Let's see how far James Conner falls. Caleb Williams goes at 90. This is the earliest I've seen Caleb go in quite some time. This is a team that decided to take Keenan Allen at 55. So if you were looking at their decision to take Caleb Williams there, that was ahead of Dak Prescott. Dak typically is going to go before Caleb. If you look at what this team at 7 possibly had to be concerned with, is they were maybe concerned about that team at 2 deciding to go Caleb Williams that either picked 95 or 98 to pair up with DJ Moore. Let me see what the Caleb Williams ADP is. Caleb Williams ADP 94. Yeah, so I guess you probably had to go through, and if you wanted Caleb Williams, that's where you had to take him. And sorry for messing y'all up with that. Yeah, this team here that misses out on Caleb Williams, they get the Dak Prescott CeeDee Lamb stack. I wonder if they would have gone both Dak and Caleb if they had the opportunity. Okay, so let's move this back around. 4 picks away. So we've done this a couple times now with Gibbs builds, where for whatever reason we've talked ourselves into going Jamison Williams and then getting ourselves involved in a Gibbs, Jamison, Goff double stack, as if that matters at all. Maybe we go Benson to continue to make the bet on this Arizona Cardinals offense. I think this is how I'm looking at this round. No interest in Tua here. A Goddard or Hawkinson on the way back around could actually be appealing. Spam the chat. Who do you want out of the 4 guys that we have queued up? You can make the argument, take Jameson, set up the Detroit stack for later on. Take Benson, correlate with Kyler possibly, for however they correlate. Take Chubb, and maybe he gets over the injury. Or for the lulz, take... looks like most people want Trey Benson. Benson, Sutton. Trey, Jameson, Benson. Yeah, it looks like most people want a Benson. Aaron says, hate to see the Chubb news. Was there Chubb news I missed out on? I'll pull up the Chubb news in just 1 second. Ty says, 12-team. Superflex start 10. Burrow, Caleb, Nix, Young, Levis, Hall, Pacheco, Walker, Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr., Addison, Diggs, Kirk, Quentin Johnson, Kincaid. Thoughts on packaging up for a top 5 receiver? I mean, if you can, go for it. If you can somehow trade like Young and Neighbors and go get a Amon-Ra St. Brown. Nix and Addison. I mean, if you can go through and make that move, I mean, it's a no-brainer for you. Let's move this back around. So the tight ends go, which is a little bit awkward because I do think after Hawkinson, Goddard, you see a teardrop where it's going to be a little bit tougher for me to mentally only draft 2 tight ends, even though I probably know that we should. So here, if Jameson falls to us at 112, I think it's probably a no-brainer to take Jameson to get the Goff, Gibbs, Jameson double stack. Okay. Aaron says Chubb predicted to miss more than half the season. Jameson goes. Not taking the receivers here. It will be a running back. Eckler's so gross. I mean, we talked about it time and time again. The man gets paid less money than Devin Singletary. Jaden Daniels probably not going to have a super high check down rate. Daniels will probably vulture some rushing touchdowns. Brian Robinson will probably vulture some rushing touchdowns. But, I mean, all this is common knowledge, right? It's not like I'm the only person coming out here and say, oh, yeah, guys, I got a feeling that Austin Eckler's not going to be good this year. Now, there's a reason he was drafted round 1 last year and a reason why he's going to pick 112 this year, right? So, I mean, we're just kind of talking out loud for the obvious. So, I mean, we'll take him here, 112. And we will see how this works out. Okay. Let me move this around. So we have the quarterbacks going in. I actually am fine with a lot of the players that we've taken with this team. The only issue that I have with this roster, or the primary issue that I have with this roster, is it feels very awkward at tight end quarterback. I think it would have been, obviously it would have been a beautiful team, at least in my mind. I think it would have been a beautiful team if we had Anthony Richardson at 64 instead of Xavier Worthy. Then it would have solved a lot of the questions that we have at quarterback. You can say, well, Mason, you should have just taken Anthony Richardson over Dalton Kincaid at 57. And yes, if we just wanted to draft like the highest floor team and maybe look a little smart on the live stream, we could have done it. But I'm trying to create unique teams here. I'm trying to create a super team that can, I mean, win $50,000 off a $5 buy-in, right? So we are going to take some risk and take some swings and see if we can get players falling past their ADP to us. So I don't regret not taking Anthony Richardson at 57. I mean, it's just is what it is, the fact that he didn't fall. But now it's like we invest into a pretty good tight end 1 and a pretty good QB 1. And it just puts us in a little bit of an awkward spot in saying, like, do we take 2 or 3 quarterbacks at this point? Like, what quarterback could we possibly get on the way back round 11? Kirk Cousins, but I don't know if that makes sense for us. We have this Stafford and Cup potential stack. I mean, if we go Stafford, if we wanted Stafford, I mean, this is something we have to think about right now. Because this team after us has Puka, right? So if we pass on Stafford now, there's a good shot, or at least there's a chance that Stafford goes to the Hurts So Good team. Is there a reason Shakir's falling? Can everybody spam the chat? I don't think we've drafted Shakir yet, but this is 14 picks past ADP. Please spam the chat. Let me know if there's a reason Shakir has fallen this far that I did not hear of, because I didn't hear about the Nick Chubb report today. And yeah, that's what we were supposed to be looking up. I forgot what we were supposed to be looking up. Yeah, Stafford would definitely allow for only 2 QBs. But if we get the option to take Shakir 14 picks past ADP, we probably pull the trigger unless there's some news that we missed out on. And nobody said there was any news with Shakir. So we'll take Shakir 129. I'm not a big Shakir guy, but we're going to draft hundreds of these teams. We probably have to have some of him. We drafted Dalton Kincaid, right? So maybe this is a team where we take Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and we say, okay, Keon Coleman is this year's Quentin Johnson. He's a bum. He gets nothing. And then if that does happen, then all of a sudden, I mean, both these guys can hit. Okay, let me pull up Nick Chubb. Is this a real Nick Chubb's report that came out today, or is... Okay, I looked up Nick Chubb on Twitter. I see Nick Chubb sprinting around a track today. I don't see any real reports of Nick Chubb on Twitter. Which obviously, I mean, it's not a surprise at all if he starts off slowly for the season. And he's not someone that really makes a difference until the second half of the year for you. But that's kind of priced in. All right, this is the team that we have to worry about taking Stafford. And let's look at where the Chiron team is, too. Because if this team passes on Stafford, they're behind us. The Chiron team already has Lamar, Caleb, and Lawrence. Okay, that team's smoking something. This team is 3 QBs. This team is 2 QBs. This team is 2 QBs. This team is no potential Ram stacks. We're going to get Stafford on the way back around at 153. So what we're going to do is we're going to go all in on the Rams here. We're going to take Blake Corum, and you will watch this masterclass of us getting Stafford at 153 based off this board texture. Ross Cred says, I don't understand some 3 QB teams. I actually just made a video for flockfantasy.com talking about underdog quarterback strategy based off what the historical rates tell us. And the best teams to get to the playoffs, to advance to the semifinals, and to advance to the finals, and then obviously it'd make the most sense for when you're in the finals as well, are 2 quarterback builds. Now, a lot of that has to do with the fact that in some of these years, like 2 years ago when we had a lot of success, elite level quarterbacks were underpriced. So if you drafted an elite level quarterback, typically your win rate was naturally going to be a lot higher. So those 2 QB builds are a little bit boosted by that. But yeah, I mean, the majority of these underdog drafts, I probably am going to be going 2 QB. And also, if you didn't get a chance to watch that video, what was also very interesting is I'm sure I don't know if I've said this directly, but I'm sure you've at least seen my little monkey wheels turning in my brain when we go through these drafts. I usually think, okay, I only really want to allocate 5 roster spots to quarterback and tight end. So if I draft 2 QBs, then I can get away with drafting 3 tight ends. Or if I draft 3 quarterbacks, I should really only draft 2 tight ends. And the data doesn't exactly say that that's the case, or that's how we should view it. But let's move this around and let's bring down a Mr. Matthew Stafford. The Lamar Caleb Lawrence team can't take him. The Cousins team, they don't have any Rams. The thing with Stafford is, are there any options to take Rams later on? You could go DeMarcus Robinson, Colby Parkinson, Davis Allen. Is Parkinson going ahead of Allen now? It was Adam Thielen. So we are going to get Matthew Stafford here, ladies and gentlemen, and we will lock up our 2 tight end build. So at this point, 2 quarterback build. We have Kyler Stafford at quarterback. Running back, we have Gibbs, Pollard, Trey, Benson, Austin Eckler, Blake Corum. We are done drafting running backs here with this running back room. Wide receiver, we have Ayuk, Pittman, Kupp, Xavier Worthy, Khalil Shakir. Tight end, we have Kincaid. So if you're looking at the correlation that we have with this team, somehow, I guess maybe we make an argument Kyler correlates with Trey Benson. We still have a couple Cardinals we can target later on. Stafford correlates with Kupp, obviously, and maybe Blake Corum, maybe. And we have, and then the Bills correlation with Shakir and Kincaid. Ross Gretz says, who's the Rams tight end to draft? I have no idea, my friend. Literally no idea. Ray Davis goes 156. Good for us to see any running backs go, right? I mean, we're sitting here wide receiver, tight end from here on out. Dontavian Wicks falling a bit. Okay, so let me just triple check, but Zay Jones signs with the Cards, right? Let me pull up the contract. Zay Jones. Okay, 1-year contract worth up to $4 million. So Michael Wilson may still be the wide receiver 2 in Arizona, but not great. I mean, obviously, you'd rather nobody goes there. So if Zay Jones did not sign in Arizona, we would go ahead, we would take Michael Wilson here to pair with Kyler. But now that that did happen, instead, I think we take Jalen Polk, who has the shot to be the wide receiver 1 in New England. Probably not. He probably won't be it. Probably would be a bad offense. Probably don't want any piece of it. I don't think he's a great prospect, but I think he has upside. We can be looking back 12 months from now and say, okay, yeah, he was actually pretty good, I guess. Just playing alongside Rome as well as Jalen McMillan. Maybe he didn't have a real shot, right? But we'll take him. I think he's going to see snaps. I think he'll see targets. We need another receiver. And like I said, I just think we're a little less interested in Michael Wilson now that Zay Jones goes there. Then now, if Michael Wilson makes it to us at 177, then maybe a little bit of a different story, especially since we have Kyler. I think we pulled the trigger. And I will be looking at Zay Jones later in this draft with Kyler as well. Teresa, happy to see you. Michael Wilson is a quality NFL wide receiver 3. I root for Wilson. I mean, Michael Wilson's like the perfect example of someone in like your regular redraft format you would never think about in a million years, and he would never be important enough to even bring up. But specifically here in underdog drafts, he's like, okay, well, maybe he can give you a couple usable weeks. Maybe he can be a wide receiver 3 with a couple spike weeks on a Kyler build. Okay, Roman Wilson goes 169. I definitely prefer Jalen Polk over Roman Wilson. I don't think it's that close either. I think you have just as much upside in New England with quarterback play for 2024 as you do in Pittsburgh. And I think with Polk, he has the better prospects. And with Polk, he has less competition as well. So Michael Wilson does indeed go at 171. Let's move this over. So if we're looking at options, I'm not taking Isaiah Likely at tight end, or most likely not taking Likely at tight ends. The reason being is if I'm looking at Isaiah Likely, if I'm looking at Rashad Bateman, These are guys that I've already found myself in a couple other drafts just kind of getting forced to take, not because I wanted to, but just because I took Lamar without having Andrews, without having Zay Flowers. So I kind of felt like I had to take Likely later. I had to take Bateman later. So if I don't have to do it, I'm not doing it. Demario Douglas goes 175. I was literally just thinking I'd rather have Demario Douglas over Baker, even though Baker has the higher ADP. See what this team does. They only have one QB, and that QB is Cousins, so you kind of assume that they build around multiple. Let's think. Do we have any like super strong take here on grabbing one of these receivers? Probably not. So let's just take Marvin Mims. I think we can probably get Zay Jones around 17 if we really want him for Kyler. We should have checked how many tight ends that these teams had behind us. This team had Kelsey and Musgrave, so you'd assume that they're probably done. Yeah, this team goes Tyler Conklin. I should have gone Conklin. I like Tyler Conklin more than pretty much any other tight end in this range. If I would have taken the time to actually look at those other teams and see the fact that this team has Hawkinson as their only tight end and they had Rodgers, they're most likely going to go with Tyler Conklin. So, and now that we wait this long to take our second tight end, even though we have Kincaid, I'm probably going to take 3 tight ends. I just have no idea. Do we take Noah Fant? Take Fant. He gets paid. I think he's a good player. Crappy situation in Seattle where you have a ton of wide receiver competition. But, I mean, it is what it is. I think he's a good player. We need a tight end. Nobody here is going to correlate anyway, so let's just take him. But TJ Jameson says, is that a cup or a pitcher of water? So I don't know if y'all have had this before. I've had to cut myself off. They were very good at first, and then I got tired of them pretty quick. But if y'all had a Ninja Creamy before, it's like a special ice cream maker where you can make like protein ice cream. Like you can freeze like protein powder, put it in, and it'll turn into ice cream. Haven't done it in a while, but I'm using the little thing as a cup. I feel sick and I need to be drinking as much water as I can. Like especially since we leave for France in 29 days for the Ironman. So the next 2 weeks are supposed to be like my peak weeks of training. I'm supposed to work out harder than I ever have. And last night I felt like I was getting sick. Today I biked for 40 miles. I did a leg workout. I swam 60, 70 laps. So probably did not do myself well to not get sick. And I'm just really hoping I'm going to be okay. Bandy says we're doing another draft for this. Yes, if we have 300 likes in the draft, we'll fire up another one. I have no idea what the new Seattle offensive coordinator is going to do. To be honest with y'all, I don't think like we can use the Seattle coaching staff as like scapegoats of saying, oh, okay, yeah, the reason Noah Fant was bad last year was the offensive coordinator. The reason Jackson Smith and Jigba was bad. I don't know. I don't think they were horrible offensive. I don't think they were a horribly coached team. They have Geno Smith and they're in the mix, right? So Gesicki goes 194. We're still wide receiver and tight ends. Zay Jones, like I said, is in play for us now that he's in Arizona and we have Kyler. And I think there'll be a lot of these drafts that he wasn't drafted in this tournament, which should be good for us as well. Teresa, you know I'm always happy to see you. I hope that you've had a great offseason so far. Rice 198. I think if I'm just talking players that I like in this range, I think I actually like DJ Chark a little more than Zay Jones. But specifically with this team, since we have Kyler, we're going to go Zay. Okay, never mind. Zay Jones goes at 200. So instead, I think we pivot and we take DJ Chark. Yes, I mean, even less competition in Los Angeles. He has really good quarterback play. So let's go ahead and let's pull the trigger and let's figure out, let's set up a prayer of what we're going to do here. I know we do this like every time we're on the live stream, but it does kind of feel crazy if... Is it crazy if we take Dawson Knox here on a team where we have Kincaid? Like, how bad is that? Shoot it straight with me. I'm not taking Jatavion Sanders. No interest. Took him Horns. I'm rooting for the guy, but still. Maybe Greg Dalton. No, maybe Greg Dalton. I don't know. Like, I love Knox around 18, but the thing is, do we want to be taking him on a Kincaid build? Probably not. It's probably horrible. Even if it's the Bills offense, I don't know if we want two tight ends in the same offense. Let's go Dolce a little bit further down ADP, so he's not going to be drafted in all these tournaments. We can say, oh, okay, we have Marvin Mims. Maybe Denver's up. Probably doesn't matter too much, but we need a third tight ends. He looked good at one point of his career. And a lot of these other drafts, we'll take Dawson Knox. And this one where we have Kincaid, we probably shouldn't do it. But overall, I like the team. I actually do feel a lot more confident. I think that we have been getting a lot better at these drafts over the past 2 weeks or so. But yeah, to be honest with you, maybe I'm getting a little too reckless here. But I feel like we may be good to go for some $500 drafts soon. But again, thank you for rocking with me, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this live stream. You know, I'm going to be live tomorrow, the day after, the day after, the day after, the day after. So, of course, if you want to get in draft with us, it's on Underdog Fantasy. Link in the live chat description, comment section. Code FLOCK, get you hooked up with a 50% deposit match up to $250. So, a new account with code FLOCK with a $500 deposit will get you an extra $250 added on. It's available in damn near every state now. I mean, now Michigan's available, so this map is out to date. But yeah, now the only states it's not available in are Louisiana, Nevada, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Hawaii, and two other ones that I can't recognize on the map, but pretty much available everywhere. And so yeah, also code FLOCK, get you hooked up my 2024 rankings. Get you hooked up with a special NBA pick'em, something like Luka Doncic more than less than half a total point for whatever that NBA game is the day you sign up with code FLOCK. But thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I really do appreciate y'all. Really hope you have a great night. And most importantly, really hope I get over this, what seems to be sickness, but hopefully it's not.